Mark Akenside. A Song. The shape alone let others prize, the features of the fair. I look for spirit in her eyes and meaning in her air. A damask cheek and ivory arm shall ne'er my wishes win. Give me an animated form that speaks a mind within. A face where awful honor shines, where sense and sweetness move, and angel innocence refines the tenderness of love. These are the soul of beauty's frame, without whose vital aid unfinished all her features seem, and all her roses dead. But where both their charms unite, how perfect is the view, with every image of delight, with graces ever new. Of power to charm the greatest woe, the wildest rage control, diffusing mildness o'er the brow, and rapture through the soul. Their power but faintly to express all language must despair, but go behold Arpesia's face, and read it perfect there. Friendship and Love. A dialogue addressed to a young lady. Friendship. In vain thy lawless fires contend with mine, though crowds unnumbered fall before thy shrine. Let youths who ne'er aspired to noble fame, and the soft virgin kindle at thy flame. Thee, son of indolence and vice, I scorn, by reason nourished and of virtue born. Love. Vain is that boasted reason 'gainst my dart. I pierce the sages as the vulgar heart. All ages, sexes, the soft torment share, the hoary patriot and the blooming fair. To narrow limits is thy sway confined, to some few breasts I triumph, O mankind. Friendship. From grovelling sources ever springs thy power, still varying fancy and frail beauty's flower. Then with its cause the short-lived ardor flies, a flash of passion that but gleams and dies. Mine upon virtue raised still lives the same, in generous hearts a constant equal flame. Love. Love is not always that degenerate thing. I too from virtue as from beauty spring. Thou to the same dull circle ever true, know'st but one form, all tempers to subdue. Wide is my empire, manifold my arts, and various are the plumes that wing my darts. Here a fair face allures desiring eyes, there modesty and sense enslave the wise. Thus, whilst each power with equal warmth contends, the clouds divide, and heavenly form descends. Wings o'er his shoulders mantling waved, behind his snowy garments floated in the wind. A wreath of mingled flowers adorned his head, immortal flowers by mould ethereal fed. Graceful he moved in youth and beauty's pride, his cheeks Aurora's opening blushes dyed. A flaming torch he bore, approaching now, fair Hymen guardian of the nuptial vow. They knew and paused. He first the silence broke, celestial music warbled as he spoke. Cease, rival powers, with rage unjust to glow. Ye both to men the noblest gifts bestow. Howe'er by folly or by vice abused, blessings are turned to curses when misused. Mine be the praise the gifts of both to blend, and to the virtuous lover join the friend. Thus shall life glide away in mutual joys, sweets that ne'er tire, and rapture that ne'er cloys. So blessed an union, Anna, mayest thou prove a constant friendship in a tender love. Love, an elegy. Too much my heart of beauty's power hath known, too long to love hath reason left her throne. Too long my genius mourned his myrtle chain, and 3 rich years of youth consumed in vain. My wishes, lulled with soft and glorious dreams, forgot the patriots and the sages' themes. Through each Elysian vale and fairy grove, through all the enchanted paradise of love, misled by sickly hope's deceitful flame, averse to action and renouncing fame. At last the visionary scenes decay, my eyes exulting bless the new-born day, whose faithful beams detect the dangerous road in which my heedless feet securely trod, and strip the phantoms of their lying charms that lured my soul from wisdom's peaceful arms. For silver streams and banks bespread with flowers, for mossy couches and harmonious bowers, lo, barren heaths appear, and pathless woods, and rocks hung dreadful o'er unfathomed floods. for openness of heart, for tender smiles, looks fraught with love, and wrath disarming wiles. Lo, sullen spite, and purged lust of gain, and cruel pride, and crueler disdain. Lo, cordial faith to idiot airs refined, now coolly civil, now transporting kind. For graceful ease, lo, affectation walks, and dull half sense for wit and wisdom talks. New to each hour what low delight succeeds, what precious furniture of hearts and heads, by naught their prudence, but by getting known, and all their courage in deceiving shown. See next what plagues attend the lover's state, what frightful forms of terror, scorn, and hate. See burning fury heaven and earth defy, see dumb despair in icy fetters lie. See black suspicion bend his gloomy brow, the hideous image of himself to view, and fond belief, with all a lover's flame, sink in those arms that point his head with shame. There wan dejection, faltering as he goes, in shades and silence vainly seeks repose. Musing through pathless wilds, consumes the day, then lost in darkness weeps the hours away. Here the gay crowd of luxury advance, some touch the lyre, and others urge the dance. On every head the rosy garland glows, in every hand the golden goblet flows. The siren views them with exulting eyes, and laughs at bashful virtue as she flies. But see behind, where scorn and want appear, the grave remonstrance and the witty sneer. See fell remorse in action, prompt to dart her snaky poison through the conscious heart, and sloth to cancel with oblivious shame the fair memorial of recording fame. Are these delights that one would wish to gain? Is this the Elysium of a sober brain? To wait for happiness in female smiles, bear all her scorn, be caught with all her wiles. With prayers, with bribes, with lies her pity crave, bless her hard bonds and boast to be her slave. To feel for trifles a distracting train of hopes and terrors equally in vain. This hour to tremble and the next to glow, can pride, can sense, can reason stoop so low? When virtue, at an easier price, displays the sacred wreaths of honorable praise, when wisdom utters her divine decree to laugh at pompous folly and be free. I bid adieu, then, to these woeful scenes, I bid adieu to all the sex of queens, adieu to every suffering simple soul that lets a woman's will his ease control. There laugh, ye witty, and rebuke, ye grave. For me I scorn to boast that I'm a slave. I bid the whining brotherhood be gone, joy to my heart, my wishes are my own. Farewell the female heaven, the female hell, to the great God of love a glad farewell. Is this the triumph of thy awful name? Are these the splendid hopes that urged thy aim, when first my bosom owned thy haughty sway? When thus Minerva heard thee boasting, say, Go, martial maid, elsewhere thy arts employ, nor hope to shelter that devoted boy. Go teach the solemn sons of care and age, the pensive statesman and the midnight sage. The young with me must other lessons prove. Youth calls for pleasure, pleasure calls for love. Behold, his heart thy grave advice disdains. Behold, I bind him in eternal chains. Alas, great love, how idle was the boast! Thy chains are broken, and thy lessons lost. Thy wilful rage has tied my suffering heart, and passion, reason, force thee to depart. But wherefore dost thou linger on thy way? Why vainly search for some pretence to stay, when crowds of vassals court thy pleasing yoke, and countless victims bow them to the stroke? Lo, round thy shrine 1,000 youths advance, warm with the gentle ardors of romance. Each longs to assert thy cause with feats of arms, and make the world confess Dulcinea's charms. 10,000 girls with flowery chaplets crowned, to groves and streams thy tender triumphs sound. Each bids the stream in murmurs speak her flame, each calls the grove to sigh her shepherd's name. But if thy pride such easy honour scorn, if nobler trophies must thy toil adorn, behold yon flowery antiquated maid, bright in the bloom of 80 years displayed. Her shalt thou bind in thy delightful chains, and thrill with gentle pangs her withered veins. Her frosty cheek with crimson blushes dye, with dreams of rapture melt her maudlin eye. Turn then thy labours to the servile crowd, entice the wary and control the proud. Make the sad miser his best gains forego, the solemn statesman sigh to be a beau, the bold coquette with fondest passions burn, the bacchanalian o'er his bottle mourn, and that chief glory of thy power maintain, to poise ambition in a female brain. Be these thy triumphs, but no more presume that my rebellious heart will yield thee room. I know thy puny force, thy simple wiles, I break triumphant through thy flimsy toils. I see thy dying lamp's last languid glow, thy arrows blunted, and unbrace thy bow. I feel diviner fires my breast inflame to active science and ingenious flame. Resume the paths my earliest choice began, and lose with pride the lover in the man. On Love to a Friend. No foolish youth to virtuous fame, if now thy early hopes be vowed, if true ambition's nobler flame command thy footsteps from the crowd. Lean not to love's enchanting snare, his songs, his words, his looks beware, nor join his votaries, the young and fair. By thought, by dangers, and by toils, the wreath of just renown is worn, nor will ambition's awful spoils the flowery pomp of ease adorn. But love unbends the force of thought, by love unmanly fears are taught, and love's reward with gaudy sloth is bought. Yet thou hast read in tuneful lays, and heard from many a zealous breast, the pleasing tale of beauty's praise, in wisdom's lofty language dressed, of beauty powerful to impart each finer sense, each comelier art, and soothe and polish man's ungentle heart. If then from love's deceit secure, thus far alone thy wishes tend, go, see the white-winged evening hour on Delia's vernal walk descend. Go, while the golden light serene, the grove, the lawn, the softened scene, becomes the presence of the rural queen. Attend, while that harmonious tongue each bosom, each desire commands. Apollo's lute by Hermes strung, and touched by chaste Minerva's hands. Attend. I feel a force divine, O Delia, win my thoughts to thine, that half the colour of thy life is mine. Yet conscious of the dangerous charm, soon would I turn my steps away, nor oft provoke the lovely harm, nor lull my reason's watchful sway. But thou, my friend, I hear thy sighs, alas, I read thy downcast eyes, and thy tongue falters, and thy colour flies, so soon again to meet the fair, so pensive all this absent hour. O yet, unlucky youth, beware, while yet to think is in thy power. In vain with friendship's flattering name thy passion veils its inward shame, friendship, the treacherous fuel of thy flame. Once, I remember, new to love, and dreading his tyrannic chain, I sought a gentle maid to prove what peaceful joys in friendship reign, whence we forsooth might safely stand, and pitying view the lovesick band, and mock the winged boy's malicious hand. Thus frequent passed the cloudless day, to smiles and sweet discourse resigned, while I exulted to survey one generous woman's real mind, till friendship soon my languid breast each night with unknown cares possessed, dashed my coy slumbers, all my dreams distressed. Fool that I was, and now, even now, while thus I preach the stoic strain, unless I shun Olympia's view, an hour unsays it all again. O friend, when love directs her eyes to pierce where every passion lies, where is the firm, the cautious, or the wise? The complaint. Away, away, tempt me no more, insidious love. Thy soothing sway long did my youthful bosom prove. At length thy treason is discerned, at length some dear-bought caution earned. Away, nor hope my riper age to move. I know, I see, her merit, needs it now be shown? Alas to me, how often, to myself unknown, the graceful, gentle, virtuous maid have I admired, how often said, what joy to call a heart like hers one's own. But, flattering God, O squanderer of content and ease, in thy abode will care's rude lesson learn to please. O say, deceiver, hast thou won proud fortune to attend thy throne? O place thy friends above her stern decrees? The Nightingale. Tonight retired the Queen of Heaven with young Endymion stays, and now to Hesper it is given a while to rule the vacant sky, till she shall to her lamp supply a stream of brighter rays. Propitious send thy golden ray, thou purest light above. Let no false flame seduce to stray where gulf or steep lie hid for harm, but lead where music's healing charm may soothe afflicted love. To them, by many a grateful song, in happier seasons vowed, these lawns, Olympia's haunts, belong. Oft by yon silver stream we walked, or fixed while Philomela talked, beneath yon copses stood. Nor seldom, where the beechen boughs that roofless tower invade, we came, while her enchanting muse the radiant moon above us held, till, by a clamorous owl compelled, she fled the solemn shade. But hark, I hear her liquid tone. Now Hesper guide my feet down the red mile with moss o'ergrown, through yon wild thicket next the plain, whose hawthorns choke the winding lane which leads to her retreat. See the green space, on either hand enlarged it spreads around. See in the midst she takes her stand, where one old oak his awful shade extends o'er half the level mead, enclosed in woods profound. Hark, how through many a melting note she now prolongs her lays, how sweetly down the void they float, the breeze their magic path attends, the stars shine out, the forest bends, the wakeful heifers graze. Whoe'er thou art whom chance may bring to this sequestered spot, if then the plaintive sirens sing, O softly tread beneath her bough, and think of heaven's disposing power of man's uncertain lot. O think, O all this mortal stage, what mournful scenes arise, what ruin waits on kingly rage. How often virtue dwells with woe, how many griefs from knowledge flow, how swiftly pleasure flies. O sacred bird, let me at eve, thus wandering all alone, thy tender counsel oft receive. Bear witness to thy pensive airs, and pity nature's common cares, till I forget my own. The Poet. Of all the various lots around the bowl which fate to man distributes absolute, avert ye gods that of the Muse's son, cursed with dire poverty. Poor hungry wretch, what shall he do for life? He cannot work with manual labor. Shall those sacred hands that brought the counsels of the gods to light, shall that inspired tongue which every muse has touched divine to charm the sons of men, these hallowed organs, these be prostitute to the vile service of some fool in power, all his behests submissive to perform, howe'er to him ungrateful? Oh, he scorns the ignoble thought, with generous disdain, more eligible deeming it to starve, like his famed ancestors renowned in verse, than poorly bend to be another's slave, than feed and fatten in obscurity. These are his firm resolves, which fate nor time nor poverty can shake. Exalted high, in garret vile he lives, with remnants hung of tapestry. But oh, precarious state of this vain transient world! All-powerful time, what dost thou not subdue? See what a chasm gapes wide, tremendous. See where Sol, enraged, high on his throne, encompassed by his guard, with levelled spear and arm extended sits, ready to pierce old Jesse's valiant son, spoiled of his nose. Around in tottering ranks, on shelves pulverulent, majestic stands his library, in ragged plight and old, replete with many a load of criticism, elaborate products of the midnight toil of Belgian brains, snatched from the deadly hands of murderous grocer, or the careful wight who vends the plant that clads the happy shore of Indian Potomac, which citizens in balmy fumes exhale when, o'er a pot of sage-inspiring coffee, they dispose of kings and crowns and settle Europe's fate. Elsewhere the dome is filled with various heaps of old domestic lumber. That huge chair has seen 6 monarchs fill the British throne. Here a broad massy table stands, o'erspread with ink and pens and scrolls replete with rhyme. Chests, stools, old razors, fractured jars, half full of muddy zythum, sour and spiritless. Fragments of verse, hose, sandals, utensils of various fashion and of various use, with friendly influence hide the sable floor. This is the bard's museum, this the fane to Phoebus sacred, and the Ionian maids. But oh, it stabs his heart, that niggard fate to him in such small measure should dispense her better gifts. To him whose generous soul could relish with as fine an elegance the golden joys of grandeur and of wealth. He who could tyrannize o'er menial slaves, or swell beneath a coronet of state, or grace a gilded chariot with a mien, grand as the haughtiest Timon of them all. But 'tis in vain to rave at destiny. Here he must rest, and brook the best he can, to live remote from grandeur, learning, wit, immured amongst the ignoble vulgar herd of lowest intellect, whose stupid souls but half inform their bodies, brains of lead and tongues of thunder, whose insensate breasts ne'er felt the rapturous soul-entrancing fire of the celestial Muse, whose savage ears ne'er heard the sacred rules, nor even the names of the Venusian bard, or critic sage full-famed of Stagira, whose clamorous tongues stun the tormented ear with colloquy, vociferate, trivial, or impertinent, replete with boorish scandal, yet, alas, this he must endure, or muse alone, pensive and moping over the stubborn rhyme or line imperfect. No, the door is free, and calls him to evade their deafening clang by private ambulation. 'Tis resolved. Off from his waist he throws the tattered gown, beheld with indignation, and unloads his pericranium of the weighty cap, with sweat and grease discoloured, then explores the spacious chest, and from its hollow womb draws his best robe, yet not from tincture free of age's reverend russet, scant and bare. Then down his meagre visage waving flows that shadowy peruke, crowned with gummy hat, clean brushed, a cane supports him. Thus equipped, he sallies forth, swift traverses the streets, and seeks the lonely walk. Hail, sylvan scenes! Ye groves, ye valleys, ye meandering brooks, admit to me your joys! In rapturous phrase loud he exclaims, while with the inspiring Muse his bosom labours, and all other thoughts, pleasure and wealth and poverty itself, before her influence vanish. Wrapped in thought, fancy presents before his ravished eyes distant posterity, upon his page with transport dwelling, while bright learning's sons, that ages hence must tread this earthly bowl, indignant, seem to curse the thankless age that starved such merit. Meantime, swallowed up in meditation deep, he wanders on, unweeting of his way, but he starts, with sudden fright. His glaring eyeballs roll, pale turn his cheeks, and shake his loosened joints. His cogitations vanish into air, like painted bubbles or a morning dream. Behold the cause! See through the opening glade, with rosy visage and abdomen grand, a kit, a dun, as in Apulia's wilds, or where the Thracian Hebrus rolls his wave. A heedless kid, disportive, roves around, unheeding, till upon the hideous cave of the dire-wolf she treads. Half dead she views his bloodshot eyeballs and his dreadful fangs, and swift as Eurus from the monster flies. So fares the trembling bard, amazed he turns, scarce by his legs upborne, yet fear supplies the place of strength. Straight home he bends his course, nor looks behind him till he safe regain his faithful citadel. There spent, fatigued, he lays him down to ease his heaving lungs, quaking, and of his safety scarce convinced. Soon as the panic leaves his panting breast, down to the Muse's sacred rites he sits. Volumes piled around him, see upon his brow perplexed anxiety, and struggling thought, painful as female throes, whether the bard display the deeds of heroes, or the fall of vice in lay dramatic, or expand the lyric wing, or in elegiac strains lament the fair, or lash the stubborn age with laughing satire, or in rural scenes with shepherd's sport, or rack his hard-bound brains for the unexpected turn. Arachne so, in dusty kitchen corner, from her bowels spins the fine web, but spins with better fate than the poor bard. She, caitiff, spreads her snares, and with their aid enjoys luxurious life, bloated with fat of insects, fleshed in blood. He, hard lot, for all his toil and care and painful watchings, scarce protracts a while his meagre hungry days. Ungrateful world! If with his drama he adorn the stage, no worth-discerning concourse pays the charge. Or of the orchestra, or the enlightening torch, he who supports the luxury and pride of craving Laius, he whose carnage fills dogs, eagles, lions, has not yet enough wherewith to satisfy the greedy amour of that most ravenous, that devouring beast, yclep a poet. What new Halifax, what Somers, or what Dorset canst thou find, thou hungry mortal? Break, wretch, break thy quill, blot out the studied image, to the flames commit the Stagyrite. Leave this thankless trade, erect some peddling stall, with trinkets stocked, there earn thy daily halfpence, nor again trust the false Muse. So shall the cleanly meal repel intruding hunger. Oh, 'tis vain, the friendly admonitions all in vain. The scribbling itch has seized him, he is lost to all advice, and starves for starving's sake. Thus sung the sportful Muse, in mirthful mood, indulging gay the frolic vein of youth. But, O ye gods, avert the impending stroke this luckless omen threatens. Hark! Methinks I hear my better angel cry, Retreat, rash youth, in time retreat. Let those poor bards who slighted all, for the flattering Muse, yet cursed with pining want, as landmarks stand, to warn thee from the service of the ingrate. To Cordelia. From pompous life's dull masquerade, from pride's pursuits and passion's war, far, my Cordelia, very far, to thee and me may heaven assign the silent pleasures of the shade, the joys of peace, unenvied though divine, safe in the calm embowering grove, as thy own lovely brow serene. Behold the world's fantastic scene, what low pursuits employ the great, what tinsel things their wishes move. The forms of fashion and the toys of state, in vain are all contentment's charms. Her placid mien, her cheerful eye, for look, Cordelia, how they fly. Allured by power, applause, or gain, they fly her kind protecting arms. Ah, bind to pleasure, and in love with pain, turn and indulge a fairer view, smile on the joys which here conspire, O joys harmonious as my lyre. O prospect of enchanting things, as ever slumbering poet knew, when love and fancy wrapped him in their wings. Here no rude storm of passion blows, but sports and smiles and virtues play, cheered by affection's purest ray. The air still breathes contentment's balm, and the clear stream of pleasure flows, forever active, yet forever calm. To the Muse. Queen of my songs, harmonious maid, ah, why hast thou withdrawn thy aid? Ah, why forsaken thus my breast, with inauspicious damps oppressed? Where is the dread prophetic heat, with which my bosom wont to beat? Where all the bright mysterious dreams of haunted groves and tuneful streams, that wooed my genius to divinest themes? Say, goddess, can the festal board, or young Olympia's form adored? Say, can the pomp of promised fame relume thy faint, thy dying flame? Or have melodious airs the power to give one free, poetic hour? Or from amid the Elysian train the soul of Milton shall I gain, to win thee back with some celestial strain? O powerful strain, O sacred soul, his numbers every sense control. And now again my bosom burns, the Muse herself returns. Such on the banks of Tyne confessed I hailed the fair immortal guest, when first she sealed me for her own, made all her blissful treasures known, and bade me swear to follow her alone.